Good morning. I know, no intro or nothing. How melodramatic. Oh, let me turn this down before we get dinged by the FCC. Happy Monday. Good morning. My apologies about Friday. I was sicker than hell. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not even trying to front. Thursday, I started feeling it Thursday night. Woke up Friday, wasn't happening. Wasn't even happening. Saturday, feeling like crap, but started feeling better. Yesterday felt good. Today, you can still hear it in my throat a little bit, but feeling good, ready to go. And woo, I don't know what it was, but it was like a 24-hour ass kicker, man. And I was sick for about a day and a half. And woo, sucked. But now my partner's got it. But I think she gave it to me and I gave it back to her. But I don't know. But so that's why I've got the even raspier voice than usual. So get over it. My mouth hurts. Yeah. My face hurts. I know it's killing you. Oh, we got a lot to talk about, but we still got 2.5 minutes till we go live on WHOT Hot 93.97, but we'll sit and kick it for a few until then, like we always do. And weekend recap, poor life choices. The 50th Music Awards, the American Music Awards was yesterday night. Yesterday. We got a couple interesting topics today. The World Cup is in Qatar, or is it Qatar? Or are we all wrong? Well, we're looking into it through the experts of the Arabic language, which, by the way, Arabic is a language, not a race. So if they're Middle Eastern, they're Lebanese, or they're Iranian, or they're Iraqi. They're not Arabic. Arabic is a language. But it's a easy mistake people make when they don't know any better, right? And I know that a lot of people go, oh, they're Arabic. No, they're not. No different than your English, American English. I got to turn that down just a little bit more. I don't need the FCC getting up on me. I get messages all the time. UMG Music is mad at you for playing this song. Good morning, Tony, checking in on the live stream broadcast. Thank you. I'm mad at you for playing music in the background of your video, and I keep forgetting to turn it down, and they clock me. And I always agree. I don't ever try to say that I'm trying to make money from it because we're allowed to use their music on the radio station, but I'm not on the station's stream. Well, I'm on the StreamYard, but it's a different avenue anyway, you know. 30 seconds until we sit and wait for another minute almost to start. That's how we do it. So time for some coffee. No Baileys in the coffee. It's always a joke. I don't morning drink. I don't even drink into the morning anymore. I didn't have anywhere to go Saturday because I was sick, so I didn't do anything Friday. I didn't do anything Saturday. And it was kind of nice. But I don't know. I was up at 11:30 at night, midnight, and it seemed like the wee hours of the morning, you know. And we could talk about that. Okay, everyone quiet. 93.97 network app. About to get serious. Got a job to do. And be eligible to win prizes. Download the free 93.97 network app today. Do it. You're listening to WHOT. So official sound to listen to that. It's amazing. Initiating launch sequence. Intro song made by Moy. I know it's Moi. Shut up. I know I shouldn't say that. That's rude. I apologize. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Oh, I forgot SpongeBob. I get so worked up. Yeah, we got another minute 10.
What day is it? Monday.
It's all right, though. I know I'm wearing my sweater today, but I don't care. It's cold in here. We closed up for the weekend. Well, Saturday night, they have a DJ in here. But, so I got my sweater on. It is what it is. If I get warmed up, I'll take it off. But don't count on that. It's chilly in here. I forgot about all this bull crap I put at the beginning of Monday's show. But I do love me a Monday morning. It's beautiful. Oh, what a way to start the day, huh? Well, it's with so much excitement happening. It is Monday morning. It is officially 7:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you're waking up well. I'm excited to be here. I can't believe I made it through another weekend. Actually, I had a great weekend. I did absolutely nothing. This song doesn't apply to me. But it usually does. No, this is a great song. Wasn't That a Party by the Irish Rovers playing in the background on a Monday morning. Hope you're waking up well. We got a lot to cover today, and I'll tell you what, it's not all fun and games today because we got a lot of issues going on in this country, and we've talked about it, and we're going to talk about it some more. But there's the 50th American Music Awards that went on last night. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about ride sharing a little bit. A conversation in the back of an Uber or Lyft or taxi or ride sharing. If you're one of those people, and I know they're out there, I've never actually thought it was safe enough to try to endeavor, but I've never traveled far enough to commute like that, where you go to the side of the road and you just meet in this parking lot and everybody drives somewhere. I guess I don't understand how it works totally, but the conversation to be had in an Uber or something like that amongst strangers. And is it small talk? Is it silence you want? Like, look, I've got my own thing going on. Don't bother me. I don't need small talk. I don't know you. Don't care. Or is it like, hey, it's part of being human. You just kind of are nice to each other. I don't know. But now what we're talking about later on, not right now, will be about whether or not we should be pitching, like, what about religious pitches? What if you're driving around trying to pitch religion or pitch your band or something like that? So we're going to get into that for ride sharing a little bit later too. Educational day for us today. World Cup. Whether you like the World Cup or not, you don't know what name the country it's in. You know how to spell it, but we don't know how to pronounce it. And we're going to learn. It's in Qatar, or is it Qatar, or is it neither? We're going to talk to, well, we're not talking to anybody. We can't get anybody to get up in the morning with us. You know what? We're early birds up in here. Let me rephrase that. I'm an early bird up in here. Everybody else is still snoozing. That's okay. They got work to do this afternoon. Not everybody likes to get up at 3:30 in the morning. Let me be completely honest. I don't like to either. So today, it was 4. I was running a little bit late today because I didn't get here till 5:55. That's late for me, but I'm excited. I had a great day yesterday. My uncle, he had passed away, 83 years, beautiful life. Got together yesterday. It's always stressful because I don't know how people feel about me, you know, and it was a wonderful time. And everybody, we celebrated the life of my uncle, and we all got to get together again. And of course, and this is a good lesson because you know how we always talk about, you know, tomorrow's not promised and all that. Well, we get a chance to get together, and what do we all say? Let's make sure we get together again. Let's not wait until the next funeral. And believe you me, the older you get, the more you like, who's next in the room? So thankfully I'm in the middle, about the middle, but you never know, right? You don't know when you're going or anything. So I had a really good weekend of rest, relaxation. Obviously, we were not on the air Friday. Apologize for that, but I was sick. And it was about a 24-hour bug. I don't know what it was. but I feel better. My throat was hurting real bad, so you can hear I'm a little bit raspier than usual, but rest assured, I feel good, and I'm ready to go. Yesterday was the day I got to go out, and I love my football. We had a good Michigan football day yesterday. The Lions won, or the weekend rather. Michigan Wolverines pull out a nail biter. We love that, right? Let's have some applause. And one thing I got to do, I'm going to add an effect to my effect bank, and that's going to be the Michigan fight song. Because I heard it about a dozen times yesterday, at least on a Sunday, because my uncle was a gigantic Michigan fan. I mean, there's Michigan fans, but you would have swore this man played football for this team. So anyway, my weekend was full of relaxation, didn't leave the house, was lucky to brush my teeth and shower, forced myself to, because you got to feel human, right? You can't just not brush your teeth. I don't know how you could not brush your teeth. But people probably do. People probably go, I don't, like, literally, I'm doing nothing today, including I'm not. Well, if you don't brush your teeth, are you a not butt wiper? I mean, is there that level of lazy possible to be like, yeah, I'm just so lazy today, we're just going to let it stick? I don't know. That probably was, hopefully you're not eating chocolate Pop-Tarts right about now. But my weekend recap was a very unusual, but I also had a chance to sit and look out the window. I live in Michigan. I don't like the weather, but I understand the four seasons. So it's a little bit funny for me there. I love the four seasons. I just wish winter went by in about 9 hours, maybe 8, while I was sleeping. And then spring comes, the snow melts, and it's a wrap by January 3rd. Oh, Lord. Anywho, we have the holidays coming up, and we start today with a sad story, but it's not a surprise to anybody. If it's a surprise to you, then update. We got problems, Mary. All right. Harley checking in. Good morning. I got my orientation today, and tomorrow I start my new job. Good for you, Harley. He's checking in on the 9397 Networks live stream we do on all of our social media. On my social media, Sapphire page, Sapphire Soup du Jour, 9397 Network. You can check us out on the free app, 9397 Networks app. That way you can communicate to us just like Harley and Tony and everybody else does. When I'm talking about topics, you can chime in on it. You can bring up your own topic, and if it's worth to talk about, we'll talk about it, But, hey, that's the kind of show we do. That's the kind of show we do here. Now, it's a Monday morning, so we don't know exactly how things are going to be working today. I get here, first things start now, right? First things start now. I have a little snafu, but Monday morning. I love Mondays, but we still got to work the kinks out. It's cold. The system's been down since Saturday night. If you guys listened on Saturday night, you heard DJ Sane, I believe, playing. I don't know the hours he plays, but he's in here and he's rocking out right next to us, but he's got to adjust the board a certain kind of way. Well, when I get in on Monday morning, I got to remember to readjust the board the way it's supposed to be, because I know these things. So starting out today, we got to talk, and it's not about good stuff. Obviously, we're going to address the shooting at the LGBT club, Club Q in Colorado Springs, but we're going to address it in a different way. Of course, it's horrible. Of course, it's a tragedy. All those things, the flowers, all the signs and all that, all the memories and all that. It comes down to the hate. Is it a hate crime? Of course it is. But we have to I'm bringing this up. I don't know anything about the person who did it, right? What if it was a gay person who did it? Is it still a hate crime? Of course it is. But it's not necessarily like we talk about like black on black crime, gay on gay crime, right? Is it a hate crime if you are, for instance, there's a story we're going to be blending into this where it's a Jewish man accused of plotting to bomb synagogues. So is that a hate crime? It's hard. Am I saying it right? This guy allegedly threatened a New York City synagogue. He's Jewish. He's akin, which means he's related to a Holocaust survivor. And he's accused of possession of a weapon. He was plotting to attack New York City synagogues. He's Jewish, a grandson of a Holocaust survivor. It's still a hate crime. But that's not the point. That's splitting hairs to our topic, because the obvious issue is not the gun itself. So we can talk about banning the guns. We're missing the point. What is driving us to want to go and do this, right? That's what we got to get down to. Who is at fault for America's gun violence? That is an article that I'm going to read, and I don't always just read articles, right? I look at one and I put it together. This one we're reading because it is an opinion, and it is going to be experts weighing in. And I'm not reading it verbatim, but these are going to be words other than mine that we're going to debate and we're going to look into. And Harley says, working for FedEx part-time. This is the time of year for that. And if you work hard enough and do your due diligence, you'll be full-time before you know it, if you like it there. You know. So this article addresses gun violence and who and what is at fault. We're not allowed to insert any politician's name in this conversation because they're not the problem. Okay, we can argue that another time. I got to make sure I continue to roll this show the right way because I keep looking to my right. Concerns about violent crime and guns remain top of our concerns, right? It's one of the things that we've always said, not always, but lately. Speaking to the shooting that happened at Club Q in Colorado Springs the other night, I think it was just before 11 or just, I don't know what time exactly. Doesn't matter. All right, I forgot what I was going to say about it. We sit here. I had something I had to say about Club Q, but I'll get back to it. What do we need to do to make change happen, right? We're going to look at somebody who lived in the Tamarind Avenue corridor of West Palm Beach, which is notorious for poverty, drug abuse, and violent crime, just a few miles away from Mar-a-Lago, right? Now, this is something that is in this article. I'm reading it, and it's important for me to do this. That's, summer, a typically deadly time of year for communities like theirs in West Palm Beach. Notorious for poverty, drug abuse, violent crime. I picture inner city, right? So a lot of inner cities can relate to this, going, yeah, poverty, drug abuse, violent crime, a few miles from very rich neighborhoods. Detroit borders Grosse Pointe Park, Grosse Pointe Farms, Grosse Pointe Woods, where you've got $1 million mansions on the Detroit River and stuff like that. And then 3 blocks away, you've got abandoned homes. In 2015, the rate of violent crime in West Palm Beach, Florida, was the same as Chicago. Yeah. they're talking in this article that we won't go through completely that had been shot, that lived it and lived through it. One of the things that they're saying, who's at fault for America's soaring gun violence? We want to go right to, oh, it's the current administration, it's the past administration, it's something political. It's not. It's us. It's where we're putting our kids. Train up a child in the way they will go. When they're older, and this isn't verbatim, this is doing the best I can. Train up a child in the way they will go, because when they're older, they won't veer from that course. They won't veer off course. So we got to train our kids right. We're in Detroit. We had a tree lighting ceremony, I think Friday night. Right after, it wasn't in the tree lighting, but right after it, a group of kids arguing with another group of kids, shooting each other. A 15-year-old gets shot in the neck. Another kid down the street gets shot in the leg, and everybody has to go home. This is why we can't have nice things. It makes no sense. It has to start at home. We have to get our kids off the street. We believe that if we stayed away from gangs, we would not get hurt. Gun violence continues to tear apart communities and devastate lives like mine every single day. That was Kathy Pisabage of Chicago. Pisaba of Chicago, 19 years old in 2018, when she was shot by a stranger and nearly died. Now, these are different incidences. The Club Q shooting, which I'm struggling to remember my point for that thing earlier, but it was important. I'll get back to it, I'm sure. The Club Q shooting is different. It's obviously it's a hate crime. I also didn't appreciate. I want our politicians to be very cautious when commenting on that. President Biden yesterday comments on it, and I'm not mad at what he said. What he said was completely correct. The only problem is that one word is it increased recently. Over the last recent several years, there's been hate crime. There's been overall, and we're going to put a spin on this. Overall, there's less hatred toward the LGBT community than before. Overall, there's less hatred in America for African Americans than before. Is there still plenty to go around? Sure. But let's make sure that we take the little bit of progress in a bad situation that we can. It's still not as bad as it was. So be very cautious, President Biden and anybody else politically who's commenting on this, not to accidentally slip in a political statement saying over the past recent several years, it's gotten worse. No, actually, it's gotten better. But one thing is hate crimes, whether it's race or gender identity or sexuality, whatever the hate crime is, they're unacceptable. They're more outcried against. More people say, you can't do this to that group, even though I'm not part of that group. We have that in our favor. We have to remember, we are more accepted as LGBT community people than ever before. Ever before, we're accepted. I'm living proof. I got a radio show in the morning that you're listening to, right? And I appreciate it very much. Some of you hate my guts. I'm okay with that. That's my job. I appreciate your ability to sit and listen and hang on every word I say, waiting for the next dumb thing this bimbo is going to say or whatever you consider me. That's for you to decide. But I have a right to be in this world. I have a place in this world. And I don't tread on you and you don't tread on me. And I'm saying that, I'm not asking that. I'm saying that's the way it goes. I work predominantly in the Black community as a white transgender 50-year-old woman. And knock on wood, if there was any around me, I don't want to jinx it. Papers would originally, so I'll knock on my paper pad. We don't have all these problems. That when somebody goes into a gay nightclub and shoots it up because they're straight and everybody else, and that's why they go in there, that's completely unacceptable to express your rights like that. No different than a white person or any other than black going into an all black club and shooting it up because they're black people in there. Or if you go into an all Asian area and shoot it up because there's our hate crimes. That starts at home. Banning guns doesn't fix that, right? Our gun problem is not the problem. The guns aren't the problem. Guns are cool. But we're the problem. Because when we get them, we don't care when we're that young about life. We don't understand. This is a very deep topic, and I'm not rambling, believe you me. This is all going to make sense in a little bit. Well, no, it doesn't make sense in a little bit, but it comes together because the moral of this is the networking of the inner city is almost always there's inner city innovators, a nonprofit that they've created because they need to give these young children a place to go, whether it's sports, whether it's some kind of after school activity other than an idle mind is the devil's playground, right? We got parents out there, divorce rate, we got to put it all together, right? This is not entertaining, I know, but this is important stuff. So stick with me. Thank you. We got young mothers who our divorce rate is over 50% in America. Well, let's say 50%, give or take, whatever. Half of our marriages fail, which means we've got so many kids sitting at home because your hardworking mom and dad are making a living. So maybe dad pays full child support. Maybe he's doing everything he can. Maybe mom is still just not enough. And mom has to work a 12-hour shift every day or 2 jobs, and getting you around is not as easy. And so you don't see mom very much. And there's a lot of time that you're kind of on your own for 3 or 4 hours a day or something. That's where it is. That's where it is right there. And you can't sit and look at the parent and go, they're a bad parent. No, they're providing for their child, but they're only providing one thing, right? They're providing the security, the financial security, the place to live. So it's not one thing. It's a lot more than one thing. But they're not providing the nutrient of the soul, right? They're not nourishing. They're not helping develop them. The kids are still being taught 12 years, up to 12 to 15, right? By the time you're 25, they say you're fully developed in this article, right? By the time you're 25 years old, your brain is finished developing, okay? So these groups, the inner city innovators, a nonprofit with 3 initiatives, mentoring program, anti-violence workshops, and community engagement. Teach kids violence is not the answer. And I'll be honest, when I'm filming youth football, I see it constantly. Every game you can count on it. I would bet my paycheck that when I'm filming 4 football games on a Saturday morning, that there will be an argument that leads to being kicked out of the game and sent off the field as a coach, or a fan who had a little bit too many sips on the morning beverage, and now they're being belligerent to the refs and the other team. And it's just, I see it all the time. The kids learn from this. They see it in the way we talk at the table. When you got somebody sitting there going, you damn homos want to change everything. But your kids absorb that. Is that what you want to put your kids? Some say, yeah, I don't want that crap in my house. Good. Keep it out of your house. But you can't exclude it from your child's life. Because what you're doing is you're setting your kid up for failure, right? You're teaching your kids this stuff. So this initiative group, they mentor. They combine individual and peer-to-peer mentoring. This is something we have to think about anywhere you're listening, anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter. But in America, we got a problem. And part of the problem is we don't know what the problem is. We call it the gun. No, the gun ain't the problem. The gun is one of the beautiful rights of a responsible American citizen. It's a beautiful thing when you've got all these law-abiding citizens out there with guns and nobody's shooting each other. So that ain't the problem. Anti-violence workshop. How about this one? Leadership development, community service, social, emotional learning. Prioritize giving youth 13 and over someone to talk to. Understanding we all have these hidden secrets. We all, not secrets, but all these hidden anxieties, all these hidden insecurities, right? So you may look at somebody and think, oh my God, they are absolutely beautiful. And how could they ever be single? And you start looking at them but they might be looking in the mirror going, oh my God, my nose, my cheeks, my this, my that. Those are things that we have to remember. We don't know what we're all going through. We always say it, but we didn't mean it. Social, emotional learning. Yeah. Also, anti-violence workshops in schools, community centers, anywhere there's kids, anti-violence workshops. But anti-violence workshop is proper parenting. When the dad's sitting there at the ball game and the son gets thrown out at third base, but he was really safe. You don't storm on the field and threaten to beat the umpire's 16-year-old butt, right? You go, that's okay. Your kid's standing there crying mad, right? You go, it's okay. It happens. That's a human being there that just made a mistake. Come on, get off the field, move on. Things happen in life. You got to learn to deal with that. Anti-violence workshop just happened. You just taught your kid crap happens and it stinks and you got to just move on with it. Not everything is worth making it a hill to die on. Community engagement, activities, right? These community groups, these inner city innovators, and that's the name of this one group, but they're all throughout everywhere. And they're mostly formed by parents who have lost their kids for no reason to gun violence. And we're not talking about police brutality. We're talking about citizen on citizen. We're shooting each other up, right? Connect to the families, support them, reduce retaliation, right? You get disrespected. You got to go out and earn your respect, but you're not going to disrespect me. Don't disrespect yourself by trying to gain that respect back. Because street cred don't matter when you're in jail. Only the size of your partner matters when you're in jail. When I say partner, I mean jail cell buddy. They do court advocacy. These are the red flags to me. Okay, a lot of young men get gun charges early on. 15 to 16 years old is the age of most young men getting gun charges. 15 to 16. We don't even yet legally have the ability to drive, or when you're 16 you do, but you just started. You still wet behind the ears, they used to say. Once you're in that kind of trouble, they won't let you in a traditional mentoring program anymore. So they build partnerships with public defenders and judges, and they work with juveniles to try to give these young men a second chance. But these young men have to understand they have to earn this second chance. We have to know you're not going to, beyond reasonable doubt, we have to know you're not going to go out and repeat these offenses and actions. And big thing, job placement in the inner city. These are all things that have to do with how we're going to keep guns out of the hands of bad people, because guns ain't the problem. Bad people are the problem. Good people doing bad things are the problem. If it's your kid doing it, it's a good kid doing a bad thing. Otherwise, they're just pieces of crap to everybody. You know, their goal, this is the goal, all right. They help beyond that. They also make sure that you're not being triggered to have to go steal, right? They make sure that if you have food shortage, that you have food in the refrigerator to eat, so that you're not sitting there looking at your mom at the table, worried in tears, going, "I don't even know how to feed my family. I work as I you work as hard as you can. You don't know, you don't want to fail your kids. You're sitting there, you don't know how to keep the lights on, the heat." There's a lot. It's a lot to parenting. It's even harder if you're a single parent living in an inner city, worried to death. Could you imagine being one of the parents that live in an inner city? You're a single mother or father, and you're trying to keep your kid off the street, and you're sitting at work feeling so guilty, like worried that your kid's going to be murdered or do the murdering. And what a terrible feeling that must be. I couldn't imagine. This is Now, we're not talking about some Brazil or Argentina where they know that the gangs really rule the streets more than just in America. We're talking about America, right? We're talking about our goal, simple goal: keep every young man in our program free and alive through the age of 25. That is unacceptable goals to have to put because of what we're doing to our youth. Think about that. We've got inner city programs who have their goal is to keep kids out of jail and alive through the age of 25. Most offending starts around 13, and 25 is when they say the brain finishes developing. The idea is to capture and stabilize them when this demographic is known to struggle the most. And not just keep them alive physically, keep them alive spiritually and emotionally as well. Yeah. They introduce them to yoga, mindfulness, out of the hood experiences. Um, when you're born and raised in a community of constant disadvantage, you think everywhere is like that. That's a valid point, because when you see the inner city schools going into, when I'm filming these football teams out in the near Lansing, Michigan, and the more they got more money, they're richer neighborhoods, and they got small stadiums, and they got tons of people out for the games, and they got all this going on. And then I go film for the inner city team, and there's less than 100 people at a playoff game for both sides, come total. And it's just amazing the difference those children, the advantage they have. And you can call it what you want. I'll call it advantage, because it's an advantage given by the choice of where the parents are living, right? And not everybody has that choice. I know there's a lot of inner city people that go, "I would love to live in the ritzier part of town." But again, mom's already working 12-hour days, 6, 7 days a week, worried to death about her kids. Where are you going to get the money to go do even more? So it's sad that in America in 2022, almost 2023, that we need to have a goal to keep our young men free out of jail. So making proper choices at a young age, because that's what that is, keeping them out of jail. Don't look at that like, well, the police problem. No. Keep your kid out of trouble. Don't make those bad choices when you're younger. That starts at home. There's only one place. You can ask the teachers to do it. You can ask them at the community center to do it. By then it's too late. Mom, dad, aunt, uncle, neighbors, everybody who is associated with your child, everyone who comes in contact with your kid molds them. That's a lot to think about. Does that mean you don't want your kid around bad people? Absolutely not. what level of bad, right? If we're worried about Uncle Larry because you might need to get your kid an abortion if they stay together too long, then Uncle Larry's the wrong kind of bad to be around. But if you're just a bad example, maybe Uncle Larry's 42 years old with no direction in life at all, laying around on the couch drinking beer, working at a fast food joint with no desire to move forward. He's a fry cook, 42 years old, been there 11 years. They go, you want to be an assistant manager? No, that's 40 hours a week plus. No, I'm good with my 36 hours. It's full time. So you can't say I don't work full time. There's that mentality. Is that wrong? I don't know. You decide. Lack of education, poverty of community, brokenness of home. Those are not sources of shame. No. How about those are sources of power? Use that to make better decisions in your life. I mean, how not to be is a good example, but it doesn't mean you have to shame that. There's some people that are completely happy doing what they're doing, and we may look at them and go, how unmotivated. You could do so much more. And they'd be looking like, but what do you mean I can do so much more? Like work a bunch of extra hours to stress myself out so I can go do something that I'm already happy not doing? Doesn't sound right to me. But that's just me. I don't know. Give them a space to be involved, a space to lead. Right? This is a good concept. When you challenge a young person who's been through hard times, they want to stand up and show you they're capable, right? What do we do when we're looking at an adult, right? When you know you can do the job and you got your resume and you got your cover letter, and what do you say? Give me an opportunity to prove myself. Let me show you I can do it. I know I can. Doesn't mean you're perfect, doesn't mean you're the best, but damn, I know I can do it. Let me show you. That's what we want. I want to show you because you questioned me, right? You said, well, what makes me think I should hire you? Well, bitch, I need the job. What do you mean? No, it's not that. Because I'm going to bring something to you. You got to give them a space to be involved. You got to let them lead, challenge them, right? But not in a bad way. Don't be like, you don't want to be a piece of crap like your old man, do you? You can't do that, right? Now, that's not cool. But there's ways to challenge people. You can do it. Like people go, I don't know. That's just, no, you can do it. Don't let them say no. No, you can do it. You're going to do it. You're going to try because you fail when you don't try. We already know that. That's not a cliche. Stand up and show that you're capable. And believe me, you are. Whatever it is you put your mind to, you're capable of it. So it's very important. The children need to be taught because we're teaching them to shoot each other. I don't know how we're doing it, but we're doing it. We're teaching them to do it, right? We have to build a culture that accepts goodness. These are words that are being used by these groups. I mean, you can't stop all the shootings, but these groups, every inner city, and I mean, we should start looking to help somehow. We have Toys for Tots for the kids at Christmas, and that's beautiful. With Thanksgiving, we always have, turkeys for families. We want everybody to experience that. We don't want kids in a holiday season to be at home with mom and dad feeling sad. Could you imagine you're eating mac and cheese and Lucky Charms for Thanksgiving dinner because mom and dad can't afford to get turkey and gravy and all the things, and then everybody's posting on social media all this, and you're sitting there going, what's wrong with my family? I got news for you. There's nothing wrong with your family. Nothing at all wrong with your family. You just don't have enough money to get a turkey. But this doesn't mean there's something wrong. Again, you go back to the not shaming. You might think I'm babbling, but I'm not. These all lead into why our kids are shooting each other. And why it feels, because I don't like this group, I can go inflict harm on them. I'm getting down to the real point of the matter. Not, well, we should ban guns. Let's look to the office of the president or somebody and say, hey, ban guns, make it illegal. It already is. Whatever they did the other night in Club Q is illegal, right? A lot of it. You're not allowed to do that. It's already illegal. There's enough gun laws. The guns ain't the problem. We can argue all day long. Guns are not the problem. Oh my God, it's 7:45. All right, we're going to break. You're listening to Sapphire'S Soup du Jour on Hot 93.97. Woo, sorry about that. I had no idea it was already 7:45. Shee. Get me going on a topic, bitch. I'll be get me going on a topic like that. But man, this ain't important. Nothing is. And we got to stop getting to this whole political part of it, man. You can't expect there's already laws against all this shit, man. Let's stop. Let's look our kids in the face and go, no, you're not going to go out on the streets today and go out, hang out with your 14 buddies downtown, and one of them going to go and you're going to be part of, no, you're not going. Come on. We're going to go do something. Or we're going down there. Come on. We'll go. Yeah, we'll meet your friends. Come on. Oh, come on, Mom. I don't. Why? It ain't cool. It ain't cool you going to jail either or in a body bag. All right? Because those are where you end up in those situations. I've said it before. My old man pulled me out of a lot of places, embarrassed the shit out of me. Right? He'd embarrass the hell out of me. He'd come knocking on the door. Let's go. I'd be like, how you know I was even here? You can't say that, though, when you got caught in a lie. You can't be like, how'd you catch me? All right, be right back. I'm not even going to turn it off. Actually, I was gone for a while. We come back at 8:06. Damn, I went overtime. All right, we'll be back soon. Welcome to Adam's Apple, your neighborhood LGBT bar serving all your favorite drink. With friendly and knowledgeable bartenders that keep the party going and make sure your needs are met.
It's the cheers of the gay bar. Your bartenders know who's coming in, where they're going to sit, how long they're going to be.
Kick back and enjoy some fresh air on their large enclosed heated patio. Open year-round with music and weekly barbecues. Karaoke every Thursday night where you're the star. And Mexican Fiesta on the last Monday of every month. Located at 18931 West Warren, Detroit, Adam's Apple. Hi, I'm back. Told you I'd be back. I'm a little early. I said 8:06. Lied. Better earlier than late. Like a period. Better late than never. 1 minute. Cold in here. Uh-huh. "29 seconds. Oh, man. Is it June yet? Oh, pardon me. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my goodness. How adolescent to begin a show like that, a new segment. Well, fire the producer. All right. I'm Sapphire Page. You're listening to Sapphire'S Soup du Jour. It's Monday. It is 8:06 Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully your day's starting off good wherever you're at because you have no choice. Man, why have a miserable life, right? We've been talking hot and heavy today about gun violence and how to solve it and all that. It starts with the family. It just starts with the family. We've got to teach our kids. It's plain and simple. Yesterday, we're going to break away from that for a little bit. Yesterday was the 50th American Music Awards. Taylor Swift cleaned house, apparently, right? We're going to look into that. The red carpet fashion at the 2022 AMAs. Try to get to that, too, sometime today. A lot of times, the fashion is the more arguable part of it. Plenty of gold, plenty of sequins, plenty of sparkle. This says here, from singer Pink's fringed Bob McKenzie dress to Kelly Rowland's shimmering cheetah print gown. We'll see. Let's see. I don't really get too much into the fashion part of it because a lot of times we would not wear anything like that. These are not fashions that you would say, oh, I would love to be in a club with this. So I don't get too much into it. I expect over the top. Anita arrives with, looks like Nike signs on her butt cheeks. Then you've got the denim gown. The Kim Petras appeared to nod to the double denim look served up by Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake at the AMAs in 2001. She's got a denim dress. You would expect over-the-top fashion, and that's what they gave. I'm looking at them all, just scanning through it real quick and going, yeah, I mean, I would expect over the top. There's Machine Gun Kelly with his spiked suit. I love it. The fashion, and I'm old, so I'm sitting in here in a t-shirt and black pants on. But Taylor Swift had a huge night at the AMAs, apparently. Much talked about lately. I looked last night. I was online sitting there, and I wanted to see how much a ticket cost for Taylor Swift. I got on the website. I wanted 2 tickets for Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. I forget when it was, March, maybe February, March, something like that. 2 tickets available. I'm not a Taylor Swiftie. I've never even typed her name into search until that day, yesterday. I typed in Taylor Swift tickets. I got directed to a website. I could have ordered 2 tickets behind the stage in the upper deck level for $600. It was $589 a ticket. Blah. No offense to Taylor Swift, none whatsoever. I have no beef with Taylor. Great musician, whatever. I don't have any problem with her. I am not paying $600 to see her or anyone else. No offense. I wouldn't expect you to pay $600 to see me. Okay. We could just get together. You could buy me dinner, and that'd be cool. We go crazy about our stars, our celebrities. She's a musician. It was cute too, because I was watching the news show the other day. They were talking about it, and she said, this hasn't been since the Beatles 30 years ago. Girl, please. And this was a 60-something-year-old woman saying this. Girl, please. The Beatles were more than 30 years ago. They've been around that long. They're still popular now, but not the craze was in the 60s. Yeah, so a little more than 30 years ago. Try 55 years ago. So somewhere around there, almost 60 years ago, really closer to, because it was the early 60s. I think they came over in 1962 and played on the Ed Sullivan Show. So the American Music Awards took place yesterday evening at the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles, California. That is in the United States of America. Dick Clark Productions and ABC had Wayne Brady host it. Puerto Rican performer Bad Bunny topped the list of nominees this year with the most nods, 8. Never heard of Bad Bunny. I'm 54 years old, completely out of touch with the music industry. So I'm not sitting here going, oh yeah, has been, doesn't know anything. Don't expect to, right? Bad Bunny topped the list of nominees with 8 nominees, including first ever artist of the year. Took home 2. Favorite male Latin artist and best name, favorite Latin album for Unverno Cinti. See, there I go trying to speak a language I've never spoke. Like a lot of people speak English. The night belonged to Taylor, though, who won all 6 of her categories in which she was nominated, including Artist of the Year, which you better for that if you're going to be paying $600 a ticket for the nosebleed behind the stage. You can't, you're too far to even smell the farts from the drummer. $600. I scrolled, the closer that you get to the stage, the more. I stopped at around $700. These were legit tickets. These aren't scalping tickets or whatever price. This was like going to the dealer and getting them. Yeah. I can't imagine. We talked about that the other day. I can't imagine paying that kind of money. I'm not mad at somebody for doing it, but please, if you're paying $1,200 to go see somebody perform, don't task Elon Musk with world hunger. Okay, you could do your part too. But see, we spend our money where we want to. Who am I to tell you where to spend your money? I can't imagine. I would feel weird looking around the audience going, I know you spent $30,000 to sit there, you moron. You could have bought the album. You could have watched it at home. But I know it's the experience. That's my point, though. We are willing to experience another human being. That's all they are. It's a human being. They go home, they poop. Could you imagine seeing your favorite celebrity on the toilet pushing one out? Like, it's hard to imagine. But guess what? You don't have a butthole for no reason. God didn't give you no purpose. right? There's everything has a purpose except for your spleen or something like that. One of these organs inside are useless. I know, guys, most of you have two of them that are useless, but we're talking about internal organs. And it's not considered internal if it doesn't stick out more than 2 inches. It's still an external organ. It just sucks to be you, Pee-wee. Lionel Richie, 17-time American Music Award winner. 17 only, huh? Honored with the Icon Award. Awesome. Elton John took home his first award since 1988 for Best Collaboration with Dua Lipa. You got to get with the young whippersnappers, the ones that are relevant to become award-winning again, huh? How much would it cost for an Elton John ticket? Because we got to base it on the fact that Elton John's career has been stellar like Taylor's, decades longer. Taylor's been prominent for what, 15 years maybe? I mean, prominent, like top market, 15 years? Elton longer. So, what, 1972, Crocodile Rock came out, or something like that? I was 4. So Biden just took office and Elton John just wrote a song. Put that together when we want change in our country. 1972, Elton John wrote Crocodile Rock. Ish. Don't hold me to it. Elton John fans might nail me to the cross on that one. But early 70s, that's a long time ago. Oh, just think about that when you're voting. Artist of the Year nominees. This was the big one. Artist of the Year: Adele, Bad Bunny, Beyonce, Drake, Harry Styles, Taylor Swift, and The Weeknd. Just to be nominated in that category, you're a winner. I mean, top 6 in the world. Right now, these are probably not all American artists, but it's American charts. It's American fans. Don't they vote for these? Don't fans vote for this too? Voted on by the fans. Star-studded event celebrated the year's best music and performances as voted by the fans. So, hey, if the American fans think Adele's Artist of the Year, then she's in the top category. I love it. Worldwide, best of the best. No, the best ones that we know, that we hear of, right? Just many, many great singers that we go, man, what are you doing here? Why aren't you up there singing with the big fellas? Well, you got to get a little bit lucky too. So Taylor Swift cleans up on the American Music Awards. I don't know if there was any slaps or any kind of controversy or not, but you almost got to think they'll tape these now. At least a good 1 minute or 30-second or 15-second tape delay, whatever they think is necessary to be able to cut out of some bad situation. 15-second tape delay, maybe? I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Didn't watch them. I'm going to be real honest with you. I didn't even know they were on. I was watching football. I love my football. Not a tomboy. I just like football. It's live action chess. I do like sports. So, and I don't think that's a masculine trait or a feminine trait. I don't think cheerleading is a feminine trait. I think it's an activity people like to do. And it was usually girls who did it because that's what we were taught. Now, girls playing football, people go, well, then why don't we have girls football? Well, there's not enough interest maybe to have it organized like women's professional basketball. But nonetheless, there's women football out there. Women play in high school with the men and stuff like that. People love the sport. It's a great sport. So we love it. So I was watching football yesterday, not the music awards. I don't feel I missed anything. This is satisfying enough to me to look back and go, oh, I never heard of them. Oh, I didn't know. Like new artist of the year, Dove Cameron was the winner. Gail, Lotto, Mainskin. Woo, go down south with that one real quick after a couple drinks. Steve Lacy, Those are the new artists of the year. The winner, Dove Cameron, haven't heard of any of them. But I don't, like, again, I'm not saying that their music's out of touch. I'm out of touch. I'm okay with that. I'm not into it anymore like I used to. I used to know all the bands and all the stuff. I don't give a crap no more. I sit and play my guitar. I don't care. You see the same names in a lot of the categories because they put out an album that everybody's been expecting and it's just as good as you expect, and then you win all these awards. Or you get nominated anyway. But it's funny because favorite female country artist, Taylor Swift, Miranda Lambert, Maren Morris, Lainey Wilson, Carrie Underwood. Taylor Swift wins female country artist too. She did not win male country artist. She won female country artist. Now, here's some controversy for you. Wasn't Morgan Wallen the individual who got cancel culture canceled because of being outside, the neighbor catching him using the N-word and being derogatory? And now he wins Female Country Artist of the Year over Chris Stapleton, Cody Johnson, Luke Combs, and Walker Hayes. Are they going, oh man, I'm suing. This is not right. This racist shouldn't have won. Or do people go, he had a bad moment, we forgive? Or what happened? Because we still don't have Roseanne back on Connors. Just wondering. I'm not mad. I'm just asking. Because I'm surprised Morgan Wallen won based on, you would think that would not be very PC. But the fans spoke. And then you could argue, well, it is country music, Sapphire. So, yeah, I mean, there's always that. Hello, Bob.
Good morning. Happy Monday.
If you say so.
Why not?
It is a wonderful Monday. You know I love my Mondays. Are you kidding me?
Well, I was going to say, if anybody was up for it, it'd be you.
I mean, it's in the top 10 of everybody's week.
That it is.
Yeah. Now,
that it is.
We've been hitting it hot and heavy about gun violence today because of Club Q. I know you've heard Club Q got shot up in Colorado Springs. And
I did.
Yeah. It's again, it's something that we're talking about. We can hate crime. Of course it is. All crimes are hate crimes, but a hate crime, there's a need for that, right? There's a need for that specification. Because when you do something because of the color of someone's skin or their identity, and you're like, if you go in and you shoot up a gay bar because the gays are in there, it's a hate crime, right?
Sure.
Now, if a gay person goes in and shoots up a gay bar, is it still a hate crime?
Well, and I guess, this did cross my mind, was because of what the history they had on the guy and everything. Was it really the motive? Was that his motivation? Or did it just happen to be maybe a place where he hung out and he knew and he could, easily access, not stand out and, go in, do his thing that he was going to do. It just happened to be, maybe that was one of his places where he used to or did frequent, as opposed to a straight bar or a grocery store or something else.
Correct.
So maybe what was that the motive? Not that it makes any difference, but was that the motive, or did it just happen to be that way? I leave you with that for a quick second.
I mean, it makes a difference only to try to. Okay, Bob. It makes a difference only to be able to move forward and try to solve the issue, because we now understand, at least on this show, we understand that guns are not the problem. Guns are the tool being used to express our anger. If it isn't that, it's going to be a knife. If it isn't a knife, it's going to be something else. So we have to stop the emotion of inflicting pain on others for whatever reason it is. It starts in the home. We talked about all that part, but now we're not talking about upbringing. Now we're talking about the actual, this is what happened, right? let me get to it. Bob will be back in a second. I am working on getting back to my story. The gunman entered the beloved LGBTQ club and immediately began shooting, killing 5. Just moments before midnight on Saturday night, right? This is a 22-year-old shooter. I will not give his name because he doesn't deserve that respect. He's 22 years old. He's alive. He's in custody. He's in the hospital. He was apprehended by, basically stopped from the customers. And they're considering whether it's a hate crime. Of course, the initial knee-jerk reaction is, of course it is. But it really does matter whether or not people are doing it for that reason and whatever. But 2 people inside the club confronted and fought with the suspect and were able to stop him.
Yeah, and that was a miracle that they were, and that you know, it as bad as it was, it could have been a lot worse. But again, I wonder if maybe because of that, and I'm sure it'll come out more in the investigations and all of that, if he frequented the club and was familiar with it and maybe was part of the community and it didn't have anything to do with a hate crime. It just had to do with anger and other issues that he had already. Or was it
like being arrested in 2021? In June of 2021, he was arrested in connection with a bomb threat.
Right.
That led to a standoff at his mom's home.
Right. So that didn't have anything to do with a club or anything like that.
No.
That was, yeah.
But one red flag, one warning sign.
Oh, no. Oh, for sure.
But see, there we have the beauty and the ugliness of our judicial system and our freedoms, right? Mm-hmm. We have to have suspicion, a reason that they're going to do this. A bomb threat at someone's home doesn't lead the police experts to go, now this is our next shooting suspect. But they're on a list. They're definitely on some sort of watch list, right? There's definitely a heightened alert about this person. But you can't just pinpoint what level of crazy they're going to go to next. That's the hard thing.
Right. And
like, well, what are they going to do? Is the mom in danger? Is the neighborhood in danger? What's in danger? So what do? Do you shut the person down? And then legally the cops go, we can't do anything. They've not broken a law yet. They've just made it look really bad for themselves.
True.
So he made a bomb threat last year. That's illegal. So there's a red flag.
Right, but it was again where it was directed, and that wouldn't take you down the road of a hate crime, as they're defined now. It would just be general mayhem, you know. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, it sure looks like it. It sounds like it. It smells like it. But you know, what was the motivation behind it? Not that that makes any difference, but just as to what you call it, I guess.
So he was never charged in that case. So they don't know exactly all the details. They know that they never found explosives in the house, even though they were called to the home because he had threatened. He threatened to cause harm to her with a homemade bomb, multiple weapons, and lots of ammunition. But they never found anything in the home when they searched it. So he didn't do anything wrong other than making threats. So they didn't even charge him with the felony. So there was no reason to legally watch him, even though you got to be like, ho. Let me ask you this. You want that as your neighbor?
No.
Nope. Sure don't. Nope. So therefore, they're on a list, right? They're already kind of on a list. Like if you got a neighbor who's getting drunk every Saturday night, and they argue with the wife, no abuse, no violence, maybe a couple of harsh words that I wouldn't say to somebody I truly love and respect, but name calling, but nothing bad, but the police got to come. Noise complaint is all you got. No domestic violence, nothing happens, but they're still on a list, aren't they? Right? The people.
Well, sure.
Yeah, because it's like Saturday night, here we go. And police can attest to this. There's the same houses every Saturday, every Friday night. It's the noise disturbances. You start getting at 10:45 p.m. and you start heading toward that area. Yep, 25,000 block of McGuire. I remember when I was with the Taylor Police. 25,000 block of McGuire around Saturday evenings would be where they would be. That's where the drinking got excessive, and they'd be arguing. And they loved each other, but damn, they couldn't get along when they were drinking. Never broke a law, but you get used to it.
Well, yeah.
You get used to seeing it. So the dispatchers are sitting there going, well, getting close. We'll be getting that 911 call soon.
Yeah, you put yourself on an informal, unofficial list. Yeah.
So now the neighbors you're on that list, right? We go, well, we know the state. Or, when Sapphire drinks too much of them Long Island iced teas, you better not make her mad. She'll shoot off at the mouth a lot. Well, I'm on a list, right? Now we know. I'm being watched. Once I get number 3, people go, watch out. Go poke the bear. Go ahead. Go tell her something stupid. See?
Go buy her number 4 and see what happens.
Oh, she won't drink number 4. Maybe in the old days. Yeah. No, there's not 4 of nothing. There's 4 of nothing going in my body.
No. Oh, my. Well, not at one time, anyway. No, I hear ya. It's you're mellowing down a little bit.
Yeah. But we've been sitting here talking about a lot of the heavy stuff, and it comes to me to child raising. We got to teach our kids not to do it. I mean, it's that simple. It's that simple.
Well, it sure goes a long way. I mean, if there is legitimate mental illness, not just excuse making for bad behavior. If there is legitimate mental illness, that has to be addressed too. But a lot of it is excuse making for bad behavior. And again, if they're taught and learn, brought up the way not to make that bad behavior, then.
Yeah. I like bad behavior better than mental episode.
Yeah.
There are mental episodes. There are legitimate. But I want to remind you of the story of a boy crying wolf. And when the wolf did come, nobody believed you because you've cried it too many times before.
Right.
And I'm starting to see that in the news now. I'm starting to see a lot of stories with the police involved, either shootings or interactions, where they're responding to a mental health crisis or a mental health episode. Let's not excuse throwing a fit because you didn't get your way with a mental health episode because you can't handle your business. I know I'm sounding insensitive and crass, and I am, because I'm fed up with excusing the bad behavior while the innocent people pay the price. Not in my America. Maybe your America, and you're free to have that America. That's the beauty of it all. But in my America, there is law and order. Law and order is not a political jargon. It's a way of life. And anything different than that is unacceptable. So, and there's no if, ands, or buts about it, right? You don't break the law because your side didn't get your way. So if the abortion rules, Roe versus Wade, are overturned, I think that's water under the bridge. We can't do anything about it. The states now decide. If your state decides abortion is still illegal, you're not allowed to go tear things down. If your candidate in 2024 doesn't win, you're not allowed to tear things down in the name of righteousness.
Yeah.
But it'll happen.
Oh, I know. And again, that's the excuse for bad behavior rather than the true mental insanity. I agree with you. I have every bit of compassion and empathy, and that for true mental illness sufferers and what they and their families go through. And it's real, and it does need to be taken care of better than it is now. But there's also people taking advantage of that situation and excusing their behavior for, oh, gee, I must have had sorry. No.
And even in the case of a legitimate diagnosed, we had the young man, last name Porter, killed in the streets of Detroit, had a knife. The police have been suspended. Well, no, that was. I don't know that these police have been suspended. There was two incidences, the mental health crisis. One was with a man who was diagnosed by a doctor with mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't allow him to go on the street with a knife going at people.
No.
Now,
No, you're right.
I didn't see the body cam footage. Police are trained, right? There is a level of risk of being a police officer. You may get shot. You may
Any
get
day.
stabbed because you have to wait that extra second to make sure they're going to hurt somebody possibly. You can't just shoot them because they're carrying a knife. I'm not a cop.
Mm-hmm.
My level of responsibility is much lower.
Mm-hmm.
I still can't shoot him because he's just standing there 15 feet away from me with a knife. I'm not in danger at that point unless he's a nunchuck thrower or whatever and he can throw it at me. But then if he lifts his arm to throw it or if they lift their arm, that's another story.
Right.
Police are held to another account. But let's talk about this one then. Whoa, wait. I got problems everywhere.
Uh-oh.
And problem solved. There's a phone call. We talked about it last week, but these are the things that we can't excuse mental health as bad behavior, and bad behavior is mental health. We can't misconstrue the two. But there's also the level of even you're not allowed to put innocent people in danger when you're having a mental health episode. The lady's mother calls the Detroit Police Department, and this is a rerun story we talked about the other day, but the mother calls the police and says, my daughter is going to hurt us. I may have to shoot and kill her. That's the 911 call. The dispatcher gets that phone call. Put yourself in that position.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter is hurting us. I may have to kill her. This is a serious problem, right? There is imminent danger to life, correct? Those are legal terms. Imminent danger to life. Those are important because there's a force continuum that the police must go by. It's a legal thing. Look it up. Force continuum. Any state you live in, you can look it up. You can only elevate the level of force necessary to eliminate the threat. If you've got a gun, I get to kill you. I have to. I have a responsibility to the citizens behind me. On the side of my police car, it said protect and serve. You have a gun. There's been a phone call made that says I may have to shoot this bitch because she's going to hurt me and my daughter and her daughter.
Right.
The police are getting that call. Put yourself in that position.
Well, it's already escalated then, yeah.
Yeah. So the police get there. The lady's uncooperative. There's a bunch of chaos going on. The police, they open the door. The police see the gun. They make the move for it. And now they're fired. They're suspended for acting too quick. After 45 minutes of negotiating with this woman, they went in to get the gun. And now their family who called 911 are demanding justice because they shot and killed that woman.
Yeah, the same family that was calling them crying for help.
And it's tragic. The family's not wrong, but the police are not wrong either.
Right.
And I'm not in a court of law. I don't need all the proof in front of me, right? I'm not trying nobody, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything. But we need to realize, what are they supposed to do? Are we supposed to say, sorry, ma'am, we'll send the coroner, call last one standing, give us a call, tell us how many body bags to bring. Click.
Exactly. Yeah. Call us when they're dead. Yeah.
Is that what we're supposed to do? What are the police supposed to do? What happens if the police don't act and they kill people in there? Then they go, you were standing right outside my door. You had all the means to get it. We called you telling you that she was going to do something.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
What are we supposed to do?
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. You're
It's
totally
a terrible,
right.
terrible spot to be in because now the family's going, we called for help. Well, yeah, but you called the police for help with an armed situation.
Mm-hmm.
What are the police supposed to do? You're not going to send a social worker in there to talk them down? Because now you got another hostage. Anybody that enters the home unarmed is a hostage.
Right.
So what are we doing? Yes, it's unfortunate that she was having a mental health crisis, but the crisis was so bad that innocent people's lives were in danger. There's the fine line. There's that little tiny fine line.
Right.
Innocent lives in danger. These legal terms, imminent danger, armed suspect barricaded. These are all legal things that trigger certain actions. You can't just go, well, let us know how it plays out. We'll send you how many Ziploc bags you need. That's not how it works.
True.
It's not always cut and dry how to keep your kids out of trouble like that. But that's how you keep kids off the street, by raising them properly and keeping them off the street. But again, I don't know how much you heard earlier, but how does a single mother living at home, and divorce in America is common, 50% of divorce in America of marriages. So how many single parents are worried about their kids and are doing the right thing by working 2 jobs so they can afford to give their kids a good life, but in affording their kids a good life, they're not affording their kid a good life because the kid's out on the street getting in trouble. And maybe they don't kill nobody. Maybe they just get a gun charge. Maybe they're just driving around illegally with a gun and they get a gun charge, but they didn't hurt nobody. But they can never work for the FBI. They may never be able to get a job in law enforcement. They may be not able to get a high-level job that requires a secret security clearance. All those things matter. And a 13-year-old, most of these gun offenses happen from 13 to 15 years old. That means that they've already got a strike against them. And when you don't have hope, that's a problem. So as a young kid, if you're going, I can't be a cop because I got arrested when I was 13 for being stupid. Yeah. Well, parents, this is where you come in. You already know better.
Right.
I've said it before. My old man pulled me out of situations before because I didn't know any better, but he did. And he knew what I was up to. But he acted dumb. But guess who showed up? Come on, you're coming with me.
Yep.
I was embarrassed, like, oh my God, my life's over. I just met this person. I'm trying to get with this girl, and I got all my buddies around me, and I'm Joe Cool. I was a quarterback for the high school, and I gotta go. Oh, my dad didn't care. He didn't give a crap about that. He was like, you come walk with your penis between your legs, all shy. Let's go. Tail hanging down. Let's go. I don't care. I'm not here. These kids are not my friends, and they're not your friends either. And he'd say that right in front of them. These are not your friends. They're about to get you into trouble. Come on. Thank you, Dad. Thank you wherever you're at right now. I know you're not in hell. So thank you. Because believe me, saved me from dumb stuff. And then we were never going to go rob banks and hurt people. Bad choices. Bad choices.
Right.
Right?
Right. But that's the difference.
Old, you want to go smoke dope. You go smoke dope at 13 years old. Seems harmless, right? Kids being kids. Wrong. You can never work for the FBI because you got to pass a lie detector test. You've already limited. Now, how many people want to work for the FBI? Not that many. But you don't want to limit your choices. You don't burn bridges. Do not burn bridges.
Well, no. Why eliminate possibilities for yourself over dumb stuff?
Yeah, because you eliminate hope. And we're talking about young kids that don't know. Believe me, when I was 18, I thought I knew where my path was. This was not. I did not see this coming at 18 years old. I was joining the military. I was doing a lot of different things. I didn't have this focus. And I'm not alone. A lot of people are the same way. So when we got these little kids out there making these dumb choices, a 15-year-old kid shot in the neck in Detroit over the tree lighting weekend. 15! You're too young to be out there doing that stuff. You're supposed to be trying to get in the girl's pants for the first time, or something, something like that.
Right.
You're supposed to be doing something like that for the first time, not learning how to be in prison, not gaining your street cred. There's no street cred. That's for bad people, right? I think we're way past break.
We are.
I didn't go to break till 7:45.
It's time.
Yeah. All right, we're going to break. You're listening to Sapphire'S Soup du Jour on Hot 93.97. Keep it locked if you dare. But I'll tell you what, it makes me mad. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, but I
Can-
can't hear you.
Okay.
But,
Well-
all right, we come back. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We come back at 9. 9 o'clock.
Okay.
We come back at 9 o'clock, everybody. I'm going to put it up here. I'll change the banner first. Let's see. Edit the banner. Come back at 9. Sorry I'm going over so much, but there's a lot to talk about. And I missed you guys on Friday, so making up for lost time too, huh? Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right. Be back shortly. Welcome to Adam's Apple, your neighborhood LGBT bar serving all your favorite drink. With friendly and knowledgeable bartenders that keep the party going and make sure your needs are met.
It's the cheers of the gay bar. Your bartenders know who's coming in, where they're going to sit, how long you're going to be.
Kick back and enjoy some fresh air on their large enclosed heated patio. Open year-round with music and weekly barbecues. Karaoke every Thursday night where you're the star. And Mexican Fiesta on the last Monday of every month. Located at 18931 West Warren, Detroit, Adam's Apple. Oh, you can hear the national anthem playing in the background. Oh, wait, that's just machine guns ringing out in our ears. Never mind. It's confusing nowadays, right? They want to make a new national anthem. They might as well put gunfire behind it. All right, we're back. I'm Sapphire. You're listening to Sapphire'S Soup du Jour. Oh, with Just Bob, and Just Bob's here, and I don't have my headphones on. There you are.
There I am.
That's a beautiful thing.
I am in your ears.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Sounds painful.
Ow.
Question for you. Question for you.
Me?
Question for
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Ride sharing, Uber, Lyft, taxis, metro cars, the side of the road where you go on the expressways and you see the fenced in area parking lot and somehow everybody meets there and knows where they're going and all go together. I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we act on that? If you're getting a ride somewhere, are you more of a nose in your phone or in the newspaper, leave me alone, you do you, I'll do me? Or are you a small talker, or does it depend?
It totally depends, actually, and it depends on a couple of things. One, it depends on my mood at the time. Hate to be selfish sounding, but if I'm being an old grump over something, I'm not going to be in the mood for chitty chat. But if the person is, nice and pleasant and chatting, I don't want to be rude either. But if it's not, if conversation is not initiated, I wouldn't have a problem with that. On the other hand, you might as well enjoy the ride, and if the person is pleasant and likes to talk, sometimes you learn something about people, or at least you, the time goes faster. Either way, it goes either way. It just depends on when you first get in what the vibe is. But I think you pick up on the vibe pretty quick. Sometimes the driver's not interested in talking to you. If he's got his earbud in his ear talking to somebody, then obviously he doesn't care to talk to you. So,
like, the driver was so rude.
Well, yeah,
I don't hear you. I don't want to hear you. Right.
I'm just doing my job. I don't want to talk. Yeah.
If it's a universal signal, I don't ever approach anybody with headphones on. I assume they're on. I assume they can't hear me or they don't want to hear me.
Well, I have, and and in public, it's when you're in a situation maybe where you're interacting with people and those people have their earphones in, when they should be interacting with you. It is rude and it is confusing, and yeah, I tend to just shut up and let them talk then, because chances are they're talking to someone else. So
yeah, I know. And so, like, excuse me, I don't mean to be butting in, but I wanted to interrupt whatever you're doing to make small talk with a complete stranger with useless, needless conversation.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, okay, hey, I got to let you go. This whack job in the back wants to talk to me. All right, love you too, bye. Like, oh, yeah, hey, how's it going, man? What's that?
But on the other hand, if I have a legitimate question about, the route they're taking or something like that, and I can't talk to them because they got headphones in their ears, then they're not doing their job either. So
exactly. Yeah, no, good point. Now, what about this? Let's add a twist to it. What about roving preachers?
Huh?
One ordained pastor in Brooklyn, one single mother and children's book author in New Jersey. Both drive for Lyft. Mm-hmm. Both share the word of God as roving preachers to their passengers.
Nope. Inappropriate, even though I don't find it offensive, and I know there are people who wouldn't find it offensive. There are people that it's not the place. There's a time and place. And
religion.
Yeah.
And religions do call their followers to spread the word.
Okay, then I put my earphones in.
Then you go, no, thank you.
Right.
And then they stop. And that's the way it should be. Because freedom of religion works both ways.
Sure.
You're free to practice your religion, which requires you to spread the word. Mm-hmm. I'm fine with that. Better than spreading hate.
Right.
But, yeah, now for me, it would depend on how they approached it, because I'm always open, like you said, I'm open to a good conversation. Mm-hmm. Don't try to sway me, but I don't mind you trying to sway me. Mm-hmm. Right? But you got to do it in the right way. Right. And don't make your goal converting me in the 20 minutes that I'm in your car,
because
Correct.
it's not going to happen.
Foot in the door to just say there may be, and it more than likely they're very cool about it. More than likely they're like, hey, would you be interested in me sharing the word of God with you? And then if you go, hell no, then they go, oh, okay, turn the radio up a little bit on the rock and roll station and let it ride.
I will say that general approach to reaching out to people and initiating conversation has become much more toned down and not nearly as assertive as it used to be, where they knock and bang the door and
you can't be doing that anymore.
No, and then you open the door and then you start getting preached at right away, and you tell them no, and you try to close the door and they stick their foot in, and it's like, don't make me break your foot, move your foot.
So these two, Pastor Kenneth Drayton and Tamika Reed, try to inspire passengers through spiritual guidance on the road as part of what they see as mobile Christian ministries.
Mm-hmm.
They say you don't always have to go to church or sanctuary to experience the restoration and the power of God.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And I totally agree with that. Yeah.
And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think it's an individual basis. I don't think they're wrong for doing it. I think they would be wrong for not giving you a choice. Like if they didn't shut up. Like if they're blasting really, like they want to talk to you, the music's real low. Right, and you hear Lionel Richie in the background. Congratulations on your MA Icon Award, Lionel. You got Easy Like a Sunday Morning in the background, right? And the person goes, they turn it down just a little. And they go, hey, would you mind me spreading the word of God for you a little bit? Talking to you about Jesus? And they go, no, thank you. I'm atheist. I don't want nothing to do with that. Thanks. And they go, okay, no problem. And they push the tape in and turn it up louder and it's praise Jesus or something like that. You're bullying me now. You know what I mean? Now you're forcing your word on me by making me listen to your music louder than what was normally on. Lionel Richie was casual listen, and now all of a sudden. So, it's how you approach it. Right.
And again, at that point, like I said, at that point, that's where I put my earphones in. And, I don't have to listen to that. And
then they should get the idea and go, okay, have a nice day. And that's when you show your connection to God by being polite and going, hey, no problem. Because that might be what sways you. You might get in and you, like you said, you've had a bad day. You got a lot on your mind, and you get in the car and you're like, oh, and then all of a sudden it's the word of God. Like, not right now. If there was a God, I wouldn't be in this situation.
Right.
So you go, oh, my bad, because you're automatically thinking, oh, here we go with this crap now. After all this, now I got to have this person in my, and then they go, oh, no problem. Have a great day. Sorry about that. And then you go, so maybe it wasn't so bad after all. Now you kind of feel a little bit bad for snapping, assuming it's going to be a pushing situation. And then you kind of go, wait, now maybe that's what softens you. Maybe go, not so bad after all. So then the next time it happens, you remember that good experience. And you're a little more willing to listen, because of what happens if they push it to you. Then you go, wait, last time they wouldn't take no for an answer. It was like a car salesman. No. So you get rude with somebody right away because you're assuming they're going to be pushy.
Right.
So that little bit of, hey, no problem. Just, I want to spread the word to you if you're willing to receive it. If not, and thankfully we're in the right country. Because you'd be killed with that outlook somewhere else.
Right. Well, and if you were in that country, you would know that approach. You'd say, well, of course. You would comply if that was your way of life and that's what you needed to do. But thankfully, we don't.
So I don't know. I think it would depend, right, on who's
in the car. Well, it totally depends. And you kind of size it up in the first 30 seconds. As to how it's going to go. And I think both parties are doing the same thing. So if you get in and you're halfway pleasant, then they're more inclined to be pleasant and conversational. If you get in and on the other hand, they're not, then I'm not going to be the one to, be pushing anybody's buttons with conversation that's not wanted. I'll just focus on whatever I was focusing on before I got in the car. And, that's fine. A quiet ride's fine too. I don't care. I just, you decide which way it's going to go down pretty quick, and it's just
exactly. It doesn't take long.
Yeah.
Now this guy, he's a preacher, He began to drive for Uber in 2015. He retired from a career in the insurance industry, right? He said, I started listening to passengers share all their stories while I'm driving around. So he's like, wait a minute, this can become an extension of the church, right?
Sure.
So he said, the car, quote, the car is such an ideal place to do this because it's personal, right? I can share my faith, and it's so important because it's what I live for. So, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'd rather a man of God than a man of the gun.
Sure. Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
so for
And
sure.
again, and there's also a way to do it where you talk about spirituality versus religion. You don't need to have anybody's particular, flavor of religion pushed in your face, but spirituality in general is something that a lot more people can relate to and don't feel either threatened by or, having something they don't want shoved at them. We can agree on a lot of things on a lot of levels as far as spirituality goes versus which flavor are we getting, Catholic, Lutheran, you know what I mean?
You just nailed that next part of this right on cue. You did. Perfect. So this is how he handles it, right? And it bleeds right into what you just said. One day he just began praying, right? He's driving somebody around. I started reciting the Lord, Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He started reflecting on how it was affecting passengers, right? He said, I always play classical music low. It encourages a calm, pleasant mood, right? It's pretty neutral that way, right? You don't get a lot of people in there that are like, oh man, rock and roll. Some might be that way, but you never know.
Right.
So
right.
he begins with a greeting and a kind word. Hey, good morning. How you doing? His priority, he says, is to introduce passengers to Christ. But he's respectful if they're not receptive. He says they're often Christian, but I've also spoken to atheists, Buddhists, Hindus, Jewish people, Muslims. Instead of preaching, I just focused on the message, and it avoids what he calls doctrine. So you're not sitting there going, hey, you want to hear about the word of God? The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I walk through the field of darkness, and I know. No. He's just sitting there going, this is how we connect. Honestly, I don't know how you feel, but when they say, when two or more are gathered in my name, there he is. And we're kind of doing that right now, even though we're not meaning to. Well, but it certainly produces more positivity than whether you're atheist or not. You might be listening to this, throwing up in your mouth, going, please don't talk about this. I don't believe in it. But it's better than talking about something negative.
Well, I was going to say, that's it. It's how you present yourself and the environment that you create that delivers a message also. And you can do it. It doesn't have to even be spoken spirituality or spoken religion. It's just being a good person and being, creating a positive atmosphere and good vibration and communication.
And it gets lost in the doctrine of it all. That's the conflict, he said. The repellent for healing and transformation, he said. Discussions and debates are what caused the holy wars. So
ironically,
don't debate. Don't sit there and try to decipher and read the Bible. And what do they say? Don't decipher it. What do they call it?
Interpret it?
Don't interpret it your own way, right? Because then you're going to interpret a whole bunch of stuff. And like we talked about, 1946 was the first time or something like that, first time homosexuality became in, and it was a misinterpretation of Greek words that made homosexuality a sin in the Bible when it was misinterpreted. So all the hate was misguided.
Right.
If you don't like me because God said so in the Bible, you effed up.
Nope.
God don't like ugly. Judge not, lest ye be judged thyself was way heavier and way more clear than homosexuality in the Bible.
That's right.
In fact, I dare say that's more clear. Judge not, lest ye be a judge thyself, is more clear in the Bible than incest, than rape.
Yeah, you're as far as clarity and directly spoken.
She
Yeah,
said that. I said it.
Uh-huh. And there's truth to that statement, to those statements. I mean, a lot of, again, when you go to interpretation, it's not that it's not recommending it or it's not condoning it, but it's vague. It's not really, it's not a big direct message. Thou shalt not. I mean, there's a lot of thou shalt nots.
Steal, cheat, lie, covet thy neighbor. What else? Root for the Lions. Wait, there it is.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not root for the Lions. They won 3 in a row. It's a fluke.
Oh, yeah, the world's going to spin in a different direction.
Call it what you want. Hey, it's 3 in a row, baby. I don't care what you call it.
It's delicious. It tastes great, yes.
Yeah, exactly. The sweet taste of victory soon turns to ashes in your mouth.
That's right.
I don't. Back to the Uber and
right.
the dry lift and all that. I don't got a problem with the religious part of it because it's a positive message, right? Could you imagine the flip side, Bob? In 2022, right now, we're in a world of hurt politically, right? Could you imagine getting into a car? Now, this guy is about to talk to you about God, if you're willing to listen, and he's playing classical, soothing music. So even if you don't like it, it's soothing. You're just driving. You're just going to be sitting there reading your magazine or on your phone or maybe small talk or whatever. You don't know what you're going to do yet. You get in the car, you sit down. Or you get in, they got the Tucker Carlson
podcast or something
going on, and they're talking about Trump, and they're talking about the insurrection and how wrong it is, and there's all this going on, and now you're pissed. Now you're angry. But they also got Come On Feel the Noise from Quiet Riot playing. So now they got rock and roll music, and you're talking about things that are pissing you off, and now you get out of that car, you slam the freaking door, you break his window, and you go, screw you, I'm not paying for it. And then you walk off. And then you give him a bad rating on Uber, even though he didn't do nothing wrong, because you're pissed off and screw that jerk. Right? You see how I just changed the whole tone of everything?
Sure.
I even sound pissed, and I'm not even mad. But peaceful. We need to adopt those things in our life. It would be too easy to get in that car and talk to you about God, get back out and smash a Brock through his window. Go, I'm not listening to that crap. Freedom of religion, I don't have to listen to that.
Right.
But no, they're a positive message. Receive it. It don't have to be your message. You can sit there and go, talk to you about God? No. Okay, damn. Sorry. Talking about Satan? Sure. No. But it's a positive message. At least it's not, and we can misconstrue it. We can be like, I don't want you to bash me about this. I don't care. Keep your religion to yourself. Nobody was trying to force feed it to you. Right. The other lady, we haven't even spoken about her. In 2017, she begins driving for Lyft to support her daughters. They're now 14 and 20 years old, right? In the backseat pocket of her 2019 Nissan Altima, she keeps 5 books that she wrote, including one for children on how to cope with the loss of a loved one, right? The passengers often buy her books. Or they'll tip her. Right. To say, hey, I'm not buying the book, but I read it. I got the information. I'll give you a good tip. Thanks for the ride.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and at that point, it's a choice. It's something offered up to be taken or not. But whether you take it or you don't take it, there's no reason to be foul about it.
Right.
But
these are positive message people.
Right. And that's okay. And that's fine. That's great.
It's so funny, too, because I'm being stereotypical like hell. The lady, she's a black lady, long black hair. She's got a mask on. she looks like somebody who would preach the gospel. The guy's not pictured, but I picture him as a bald black man. I do. I can picture him.
Right.
He's 61 years old. He used to be an insurance man. He's out there preaching the Bible. I just feel like he's been connected to a shooting or something like that, right?
That in some ways,
yeah, his life to pain and loss.
I was going to say something affected him in his world in a way that, you know, did pushed him in that direction and made him want to do that.
Right. Right.
I'm not sure that necessarily anybody would just, for no particular motivation, decide to do that. I would think there's always something going.
Usually,
yeah, something going on in the background there that, you know, drove a decision.
Yeah. And now she doesn't even make it to church every Sunday because she has to work to support her family. So, in order for her to still stay close to who she believes and all that, she goes, I play George Michael on weekdays, and I play gospel on Sundays when I can't make it to work because I'm working.
Right. And again, if it's, I don't care when I get into a car, and I've heard all different kinds of music. I've used Uber and Lyft drivers several times over the years, and it's almost always a different experience. And sometimes it can be, like I say, interesting, or it's certainly not the norm. And, it might be a cultural experience or something that you have for 20 minutes. And, you know, you learn something about people, you learn something about, you know, another, either be it, we talk religion here, but it can just be another nationality and how they live and their customs and that kind of thing. And it can be pretty cool if you make it that way. It can be a pain in the butt if you make it that way too. A lot of you make it.
Now, a lot of people might be going, oh my God, I hope they don't pick me up. I don't want to be put, but they're not bashing you with it. They're not forcing it upon you. She said, most people say you made my day. So it makes her feel like she's making an impact on somebody's life. And then it brings her joy. Well, happy people make happy people. So,
and they make better choices overall too, which affect us all. So.
And like we talked about with pain and hurt and stuff, she turned her pain into a purpose to inspire others to live a better life. All this relates to not taking your gun out and shooting other people for no frickin' reason.
True.
That's what this is all about. Find something in your life that makes you go, hey, I don't want to be a piece of crap today. I'm not going to go shoot somebody for no reason. Is that too much to ask? Good morning, Anne-Marie Phillips, all the way from Panama area, the Panhandle. This all leads down the same road to me. I started the show talking about we're going to get down to the bottom of guns. Guns ain't the problem. A gun is nothing. A gun is nothing. Guns are cool as hell, actually. You ever fire one? Man, they make you feel powerful. Like if you're a little 15-year-old kid that can't beat up a pillowcase, it don't matter. You get a gun in your hand. The big 18-year-old bully that keeps on threatening to beat you up, no more. Not no more, baby. Because I got this heater in my hand, and I am all powerful. That's what it makes you feel like. It takes a normal person to go, I'm not pointing this at anything I don't want to destroy.
Yep.
You'll learn that terminology in gun class. You don't point the gun at anything you don't want to destroy. Period. No, it's that simple.
It is that simple.
There's no magic to it.
It is that simple, and most people get it.
So, using Lyft and Uber to see how this conversation tone changed? Because when we started, we were like, oh man, no, thank you. Don't push that crap on me, right? But now we're going, wait, we can turn this around. We can turn this around into a positive message. I did it this morning. We can look at, I cautioned President Biden this morning, not personally, if he's listening, thanks, Uncle Joe, how's it going? You want to smell my neck? Took a shower.
Yeah, extra pretty this morning, yes.
I cautioned him on how he approaches the verbiage. It was a political statement he made a little bit. And I don't mean he did it on purpose necessarily, but we've got to be careful. He said, an attack on the LGBT community. It's been happening more frequently over the recent years or something like that. Something to that effect. A recent years thing, which to me bleeds right into blaming certain things and people. No. In quite actuality, and I believe I could back this with fact if I wanted to, we get attacked less now than before. But they're more unacceptable than ever because we're like, come on, we know to do better, right? When we see white on black crime, we go, come on, we know better than this. There's no hatred that can be justified for this. So that's where we're at. So let's make sure we turn this positive. Even though the Club Q shooting was completely horrendous, it's less and less often than it used to be.
Oh, I believe the problem now is that usually when incidents happen, they're on a much larger scale. It's kind of like you'd have plenty of smaller incidents before, and it seems like now everything's, big and really bad. Instead of just bad, it's, really horribly bad.
I mean, it's like when you're a child, right? You can do so many things. I mean, you can play these games, you can do all these things, but you can't get your room clean, right? You don't know how. You just can't figure it out. And your parents teach you.
Right.
And they show
and then you still don't do it.
Clean your room, all your toys go in the toy box, you make your bed, you get all your clothes in the basket, all your clean clothes go in the dresser. It's really simple. It's not difficult to do. But they can't learn it because they don't want to.
Right. And then it becomes, if I have to come in here and clean your room.
Right. Then we're going to get violent.
You're going to be missing a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Now, back to the ride sharing, and Amy Marie pops in, Lyft and Ubers. Yeah, get in a car with a stranger. Yeah. I see. And that I agree with that notion. It's like, at what point do we trust it enough? Because people don't care. We've had people in Detroit get out of their car in front of the police station and stab their wife who was running from them to get to the police station. Once you get to the front door of the cop shop, you think you're pretty safe, right? No.
You think?
No.
Okay.
No. He stabbed her right in the back on her way in. They had to shoot his ass. They don't care. You're obviously caught. You don't care. You're still going to inflict that pain. That's not the knife's problem. That's the man's problem. Right.
I guess the thing with Uber and Lyft, it goes back to taxis too, and taxis have been around for a really long time. They're a stranger. You get in a car with a stranger. The difference is that there's licensing and, vetting and things like that. But Uber and
taxi drivers was never the taxi driver. The taxi driver was always the one that was vulnerable.
Victim. Yeah.
Now we got Uber drivers who they're on the clock. They know who you are. And you kill somebody in your car. Nobody cares anymore. It's crazy. So you can blame the gun, and we can blame is it a hate crime? Of course it is. Well, we don't know, of course it is. But all crimes have hate involved in them.
Well, right? Any of that kind of...
I can't come up to you and say, give me your money, and then take your money and run, and consider myself the same person who will beat you in the head with the pistol whip you with it. That's a different breed of bad. I don't want to sit there and say I wouldn't get in an Uber or Lyft because that's not true. But there are so many things that make you go, huh. And we don't know. Look, we talk about the Adam's Apple, the Hey Love Saloon where men meet men and everybody's welcome. Adam's Apple, the LGBT, premier LGBT bar. I'm reading it now as it goes across the bottom of the screen. Last night, I went from my uncle's service. I had a meeting, and we met at the Apple in the Dearborn area. It was in between where we had to meet. And, you start thinking about that. Go, I could have been here. Could be anywhere. Could Club Q in Colorado Springs was a place for people to go feel safe. And if you're one of the people out there listening right now because you just don't like me and you're waiting for me to say things, and that's what happens. People don't all like me to listen. They're listening to what this dumb bitch is going to say next and all this, right? That's all good and fine. That's part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But do we not have a place that we can go to feel safe? Like if you're a biker, you have a biker bar, right? And that's where you can go and you can feel like you don't have to defend yourself, because bikers ain't scared, right? They're all tough, burly guys. They walk around. They're not scared, right? They don't care. You don't like me? Let's go outside and roll around a little bit.
Right.
That's the mentality, right? We'll knock the tables over right here. I don't care. That's the way they are. So they go to places that they don't have to defend themselves. Because if they go out to a normal place, quote unquote, then people are going to be like, oh, look at the big bad biker. And then he's going to be sitting there like, but I'm not going to allow you to disrespect me like this. I just came out to have some beers. Now you're forcing me to beat your face in with my chain wallet.
Well, yeah, it's just that automatic assumption and stereotyping. Yeah.
It is an exaggeration, but they have a safe place. A biker bar. Yeah. Sports bar. It's your safe place. That's where you can go and you know the game's on. That's where you go and you've got your like-minded people who are your fans that support the same team you do. And the beautiful thing is a good rivalry, right? Just because you're an Ohio State fan doesn't mean you beat up the Michigan fans. We need one another, right? There's nothing wrong with a good rivalry. It's a friendly rivalry. Heated is different. Friendly.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that stuff. But we can't handle it anymore. We get mad.
Yeah. No, and very quickly, and people are looking for a reason to, just give them a reason to go off, and that's what they'll use as their excuse. And again, that's the excuse for bad behavior versus legitimate diagnosed things, and it's just way too much bad behavior going on, and people making excuses for it.
Well, yes, bad behavior. That's a good phrase.
Oh,
don't mistake it for other things. But a positive message coming, like what we started talking about with Uber and Lyft, was small talk and religion and talk like that. But it morphed into the LGBT shooting, the Club Q and everything. These all bleed together of our state of mind as a country. And forget politics. Politics is bad for us. It is. It's bad for our psyche right now. Like I was saying, you get in an Uber and there's classical music playing lightly and there's somebody happy. They're, hello, how are you? Welcome. The car's nice, right? It's not all banged up. It doesn't look like they drive like a maniac, right? There's no sign on the dashboard, sit down, shut up, seatbelt, and whatever it is. It's a comfortable feeling. You got a bright, smiling person that wants to share their love of God with you, right? At that point, you can go yeah or no, but it's a positive message. We need more of that.
Sure.
Or it could be the political thing where you get out of the car mad as hell.
Right. It's the positivity always, will always win. It's so easy to be negative. Sometimes it takes a minute or two to become more positive. It's easy to let every little thing bother you. It's easy to get consumed by it and then to project it onto other people. Sometimes you have to stop and think. And of course, here we are in the week of Thanksgiving. And this is the perfect time to look for the good in things rather than the bad.
Exactly.
And focus on the good in things rather than the bad. I mean, it all sounds, maybe to some people it sounds pie in the sky and idealistic and all, but you get to make the choice on how you feel to a large extent and what you choose to allow in your head and what you choose to project out. So
And using technology to project out your religious beliefs are not new, right? Remember when satellites came around, right? Space flight. Shortly after space flight became possible, people started talking about how to use satellites to spread the gospel. And then what happened in the 80s? Preachers started using televisions.
Right.
To spread the word of God.
It became a much more popular vehicle. Well, yeah, it became a much more popular vehicle. I mean, the Mass for Shut-ins was on TV even before that. Sunday mornings, you'd have church for people that couldn't get out. 6:30 Sunday morning, you'd turn on your local channel and you'd have, church going on for a little bit. And but yeah, then as cable networks and things like that grew and there was a much larger reach, then the people going after the big bucks got involved. And,
you can go to the prayer line now and dial a number, and for $59.99 a minute, you can pray all day.
Get your reading.
You got to be careful too when you're not getting taken by people using religion as a way to steal your money.
Yep.
There's always that part too. You got to watch out. And if you're using a religion to steal, you're really doing it wrong. Because thou shalt not steal is one of those big ones.
Yeah. There's all kinds of ways to steal too that way. I mean, it's not just give us your donation. I mean, sometimes you're buying stuff, or you're buying a service. The Psychic Friends Network, remember that one?
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, where are we at? Oh, it's too late for a break, that's for damn sure. So, if you listened in today to listen to the music, sorry about your luck. We had a lot to talk about today.
We can't shut up.
Here's a story to piss you off. This is crazy. I can't even fathom this. New Jersey official calls police on a 9-year-old black girl. It sounds like an asshole, a bad neighbor, right? That's what it sounds like. But it's more than that. And we're going to be two white people trying to put ourselves in the perspective of a black person, right? And what they're going through. A little 9-year-old girl. Forget what color she is. She's black. A 9-year-old American little girl outside testing a TikTok recipe for a spray to kill spotted lanternflies, an invasive species, right, in her New Jersey neighborhood.
Okay.
A 9-year-old black girl is outside with a spray bottle spraying trees and things with the invasive species on it. 911,
well, how else are you gonna
what's
test
your
it,
emergency? Quote, there's a little black woman. This is a 9-year-old child, okay? This is, again, we're the dispatcher. We had to put ourselves into perspective earlier. And it was kind of on the side of the police. This one's kind of not, okay? Not that the police did anything wrong. This is the 911, what's your emergency? Quote, there's a little black woman, remember, 9 years old, that's a kid, spraying stuff on the sidewalks and trees on Elizabeth and Florence. I don't know what the hell she's doing. Scares me, though. End quote. Now, the child's mom addresses how racism and implicit bias put her 9-year-old in danger. And first you go, how did that put her in danger? Trigger words, that's how. Racism, intentional or not, still racism, according to her mother. She said, it's sickening and scary to me to hear my neighbor using words that have resulted in the death of too many black people at the hands of police. Black hoodie, I'm scared. She's got something in her hands. a little black woman. No, it's a 9-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
You think it's a what description? You got a little 9-year-old. Let's play through that. Play through that in your head. You look outside. You live in Livonia. Now, let's be specific here. Livonia, Michigan has been accused of being a racist city.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt about it. People say, do not DWB in Livonia. Drive while black. I'm being honest.
No,
that
you
has
are.
been since forever.
No, enough where there were billboards and stuff in protests and things like that. I mean, it was a major thing.
You're in your neighborhood, known as kind of not too friendly for the black culture, right? And you see your neighbor's kid, not just some kid, your neighbor's kid. You don't know who that is? Spraying stuff on the sidewalks and trees. If it's not a color, you know it's not paint.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're spraying something, you're not mistaking this for a weapon.
Right.
So my first question is, why the hell did you call me? I'm 911.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But this person says there's a little black woman walking, spraying stuff on the sidewalks and trees. I don't know what the hell she's doing. Scares me, though. The police have to come out. You imagine, you get there, you pull up, you see a 9-year-old, black hoodie, I'm scared. So now the mom says, based on everything that has transpired over the years, I'm scared for my kid, I'm outraged. I don't blame her. I would be, who is this guy? I'm not even going to say his name.
Right.
And you can find the article if you want to. All you got to do, 9-year-old, it's on CNN. It's on a couple different websites.
That's just someone causing, who's out to and cause problems. What would there be legit? Assuming they were scared, they would probably have to identify what they were scared of, not just this scares me. Well, what about it is so scary? It doesn't sound scary. So what's the threat here? I need to know why we're sending. Well,
you could defend it by saying, well, he didn't know. Wrong answer, right? This is Gordon Losh, a local Republican leader, a former councilman in his community. This is the person who called 911. Now, I don't know that it matters that he's a local Republican leader, but for this to incite anger on the one side or another, you go, okay, let's put Republican in there. Let's extract that. That from the record.
I was going to say, the more identifiers you can throw in, the more agitating the whole thing gets.
So this person, Gordon Losh, is a former councilman in his community. Now, the eldest sibling, the older daughter, 13, spoke at a town hall meeting and recalled the incident that she was not on his property. The 71-year-old former councilman knows the family, knows the 9-year-old, knows the mother. The kid was not only doing something amazing for the environment, she was doing something that made her feel like a hero. So now you just trampled this kid's psyche. This kid's out there thinking they're helping the neighborhood, the world. They're making a difference. They're saving the neighborhood. They're doing something good. For a 9-year-old to feel that way, you just empowered them. You just took the gun out of their hand. You just did it. You just did it. You empowered them beyond any belief you could ever do. You didn't even do nothing. You just let them go out there and spray a tree with some TikTok recipe. That may not have killed them at all. It doesn't matter. This person killed this kid's psyche. She's out there doing something what she thought was amazing. She's out there being a hero. Now, she don't even want to go outside.
Well, and again, it's so, why wouldn't you, if you have a problem with someone's kid who's your neighbor who you know, why wouldn't you go talk to the mom or the dad first and say, what's the young one doing here? This looks a little funny, and it unnerves me. What's in that bottle that she's spraying? I mean, you would take it to the source first before you assume the worst and bring a third party, the police, in to stir it up. It's just common sense, which no one has.
Not only did it affect her psyche, she's afraid of police officers now too, because the cops pull up. They have to interact with her. They got to find out what's dropped the bottle. So now this little black girl who's going, and think about it. When the cop pull up and get out, you didn't even know you're doing anything wrong, and he said, "Drop it. Drop the bottle." Do you think it's a weapon? What? I mean, what we're putting this kid through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the unknown is what's in the bottle, but there's plenty of ways to approach it that don't have to go to that level. People take things, we always talk about the extremism, and there's a perfect example of extremism. The police never... Yeah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, the police never had to be involved in that.
No, not at all. Not at all. I would charge him for the phone call.
Yeah.
I would charge him with filing a false report. Charge him with calling 911 for a non-emergency. Mm-hmm. What did you think she was doing? What do you think it was in there? What did you think it was? Anthrax? Are you stupid?
And if so, why didn't you say so at the onset of your call?
Yeah. Well, the mayor chipped in on this one. The mayor, John Kelly, apologized for the incident. Said after reflecting on the story and learning more from the police report, it's clear a line was crossed.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Now,
good. Call it out.
Did I break the law? No. But is that who you want serving your community? Absolutely not. But This is the point. You ruined this kid for a while anyway, but they'll never look at a cop again the same way. That's not what we need. Cops are not out there to mess with you. There are those ones out there. There are the ones out there. But let's face it, 99% of the time, if you got pulled over, you did something wrong. If the cops walk up to you and say, "Give me your ID, Buster," more than likely, you deserve it. If not, you're a good citizen and you want law and order, you go, "Whatever I can do to contribute, it wasn't me, here's my ID. You got the wrong one."
Mm-hmm. Right.
But we can't do that no more. But this guy, 9-year-old kid, and again, we got the wording. There's a little black woman walking, spraying stuff. I don't know what she's doing. Scares me though. If this is a 71-year-old man, I hope he's out there on the golf course right now down there in Florida or wherever. I think it was in Florida. Oh, New Jersey. I hope they're on the golf course going, You want to go from the ladies' tees? You're afraid of a little 9-year-old kid in a squirt bottle? You putz. Mm-hmm. Get away from... I couldn't be friends with somebody like that. I'd say, "Bob, our friendship's over."
Mm-hmm.
You called the police on a 9-year-old woman when it was a little black kid that you knew?
Right.
You're a piece of crap. Get out of my house.
Mm-hmm. No, again, it's something that was, taken 3 steps too far too fast and prejudged and everything else.
Disgusting.
It is disgusting and not right.
You got a word of the day? I mean, we're out of here.
I do, as a matter of fact. I usually. In fact, let's leave today with kind of where we've been trying to go. The word is ataraxia. Ataraxia. Ataraxia, which is a state of freedom from emotional disturbance and anxiety. A state of tranquility. Let's be calm. Let's take a breath. Much better. Why are you laughing at me?
You
Call
don't
him.
hear the sound effects.
Oh, no, I'm not hearing the sound effects.
During your tranquility, fat
Were you?
bastard was farting.
I said, was someone farting?
Yeah, wasn't me. All right,
Well, that's
that does
good.
it for us, I guess. I mean, today was not.
It
We
was an
went on a
interesting
lot
day.
about the guns and stuff like that, but I could
We
sit
need-
there and we could say prayers for the victims and all that, and that goes without saying. But
Mhm.
let's not blame the gun. Let's not sue the manufacturer. Let's look at the person who did it, the 22-year-old scumbag, and hold him accountable. And I hope they broke every bone in that son of a bitch's body. I really do. Because the two people that stopped him, I hope they beat him with the barrel end of that gun in the face. I'm sorry. I don't feel bad for him. They're lucky they didn't kill him. Kudos for not. I'm sure it was discussed. I'm sure somebody said, shoot him with his own gun.
Yeah.
And then somebody else probably said, no, they're not getting away with this that easy. Beat their face in with it. We'll make sure they live. I know it sounds terrible. I'm done excusing bad behavior. Call it what you want. You put innocent people in danger, you're out of here, mister or missus. Don't matter. But
You're right.
until then, nothing's going to change. When everybody's had enough,
That's
change. Until then,
Well-
not yet.
when the middle majority's had enough. Yeah.
No. All right. That's it for us. Thank you for letting us in your house, car, wherever you were listening. A lot going on today, but how do you not address it? Opinions are a dime a dozen. Validation is for parking, and loyalty is not just a word, it's a lifestyle. Be loyal to yourself. It's not cool to be carrying around a gun when you're a young man or woman. I know you think it is. Believe me. Look in the jail cells of your uncles and aunts and everybody else around you and put the gun down. It ain't worth it. Right? In a world where we can be anything, be kind. We have no idea what a kind word, a friendly smile can do to impact somebody's day, maybe even change their life. Until Wednesday, I'm Sapphire'S.
I'm just Bob.
We're out of here. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Boom. That's a wrap. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody. Don't know if we're entertaining to you or not today, but hopefully it was informational.
Thought-provoking, perhaps.
Yeah. Might have pissed you off. Might have made you laugh. Might have been a little bit of both.
Probably some of each, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what we're here for. We're out of here. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you Wednesday, everybody.
Yep. Have a good one.